This is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you guys the slow juicer. You could also call it a cold press juicer because it crushes and squeezes the juice out. That is super easy and efficient for juicing fruits. Here at Discount Juicers, I sell all different kinds of juicers. And our popular request is, John, what's the best juicer for juicing fruits? So, you know, that depends on how you define best. If you define best by the driest pulp, then I surely would not recommend the Namawell J2 juicer. You would then want to use the Dynapro vacuum blender with Alexa's nut milk bag. Link down below to that. That's where you're blending under vacuum and then you're sieving it out with your hands. But, you know, that gets kind of messy. But that's going to produce the highest yield with super dry pulp and also, more importantly, the highest level of nutrients. After that, if you want the highest level of juice, then you want to use a press style juicer. Think like cider press or, you know, the grape press. Those press style machines, those really handle the soft textures of fruit well. I mean, in the olden days, that's how they made, you know, apple juice and grape juice and fermented the grape juice into wine by just using the old fashioned, like even a screw press or some kind of hydraulic press. Now, after those two methods, which are the best in terms of yield and then nutrition for fruits, I'm going to say of all the different style juicers, I like the Namawell J2 the best because number one, it's a slow juicer. It's not a high-speed machine. High-speed machines, as in my last test I did with the Namawell J2 against the Breville, link down below to that, you can see really how wasteful the high-speed machines are when trying to juice fruits. Prices are going up on everything, guys, and when you're extracting more juice out of your fruits and vegetables, that's going to save you guys more money. And the real reason why I like the Namawell J2 is because it's a vertical juicer, and vertical juicers tend to juice fruits the best out of all different kinds of slow juicers. They don't tend to get the screen clogged, and the vertical style machines could handle the softer textures of fruits. A lot of juicers are designed for breaking down and breaking open hard vegetable fibers, which some of the juicers do that really well and actually even better than the Namawell J2, but where the Namawell shines is that juicing fruit, you know, other juicers can back up and clog on juicing fruits and actually give you guys a headache because it's just not working properly and you just want to make your juice. And I've been in that situation before when I've been at a friend's house and I didn't have the appropriate juicer. That being said, the Namawell J2 could also handle quite well things like leafy greens and carrots. So I mean, it's the good all-around juicer for juicing fruits, vegetables, or even leafy greens if you don't want to focus on any specific one of them. That being said, I know there's many detox programs that are being talked about that, you know, people, they just want you to juice only fruit, right? And that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you guys today that want to get a slow juicer to juice fruit. The Namawell J2 is my go-to juicer for juicing fruits. Actually, just the other day I juiced bell peppers, which technically, although we classify them as vegetables, bell peppers are a fruit, and likewise with tomatoes. Tomatoes are a fruit because technically they contain seeds. Tomatoes actually have a very soft texture and may clog and jam other style machines. So in this episode, I'm going to juice 5 different fruits to show you guys how it works and how simple it is to juice in the Namawell J2. We're going to juice tomatoes, we're going to juice apples, and I always like to juice apples with a lemon to prevent the browning. Then we're going to juice mangoes. That can be very difficult to juice, and normally I don't recommend juicing mangoes, but I know some of you guys want to do it because it's a lot of prep work. Personally, I would rather eat the mangoes or blend them whole. You cannot put the skins or the pits inside the juicer. Next, we're going to juice watermelon, and one of my favorite things to juice fruits anyways is the papaya, especially when I buy papaya and it's just not that sweet. By removing some of the fiber when I juice it, it makes the papaya actually taste good because the juicer removes some, but not all the fiber. The juicer will remove the insoluble fiber that comes out this side, but the soluble fiber dissolves in water, so you're going to still get the overwhelming majority of the soluble fiber in the juices. This is evidenced by when I juice grapefruits with that white pith. You know, literally in my fridge, it'll like gel up and get nice and firm. That's all the fiber still contained within the juice. I encourage you guys, as much as you possibly can, juice all the different parts of the fruit that you are able. So in the case of tomatoes, I could juice it all. I could juice all this stuff. On this guy, I'm going to juice basically the flesh only, no skin, because that can cause reactions and the pits will damage the machine. On the watermelon, you can juice the seeds, the middle, and the rind. Today I'm not juicing the rind. I'm just going to juice the middle. If you juice the rind, it's going to make it less sweet, which could be a good thing, and also you can get better utilization. Actually, I use the rind in my garden to catch pill bugs, so that's kind of more invaluable to me than just juicing it today. And then I'm going to juice basically the papaya. To juice a papaya, I skin it and remove all the seeds. So I'm going to show you guys that process using the Namawell J2. So I guess without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started, show you guys how easy it is. I mean, the tomatoes, all you got to do is take the whole tomatoes, drop them in the hopper. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see if I can fit this last one in there. 10. Shut the lid. Look at that. All 10 tomatoes, no pre-cutting required. Turn this machine on, and we're going to go ahead and let it go to town. The automatic processing blade basically turns it, so it pre-cuts everything for you, and it feeds it into the juicer at a nice, slow, and moderate rate. I think in order to save you guys some time, we're going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up, and we're going to come back at you when we're done juicing all the tomatoes. Alright, so the juicer's been running quite a bit of time and it's getting down to the last bit. Everything's pre-fed pretty well, but the challenge here is that even the softest of fruits can have challenges in the Namawell J2 juicer. The issue is if the texture's too soft, things tend to mush up and not juice too well. Despite the soft texture, it's juiced really well. It's just taken a little bit extra time because a lot of the pulp is still floating around the top and actually not dropping in. You can see the juice still coming out, but it's taken a fair bit of time to do this. One of my main tips for you guys is when buying fruits that you know you're gonna juice, get the nicest, firmest, and most fresh fruits. Fruits that have been old, apples that you could buy and then you could press your finger into and they dent, they're too soft and mealy. They're not gonna juice as well as nice, firm apples such as Granny Smith or Fuji's, or maybe even Brayburns that keep their texture a little bit better than say Red Delicious that gets really soft, and then soft apples tend to mush and not juice too well. Alright, I want to give you guys a pro tip. The machine, I've been letting it run for quite a bit of time and there's a lot of pulp that is just literally going through the juicer ever so slowly. You can see the juice is still dripping out, but it's just not going through. So how can you get every last bit of juice out? Well, I want to give you guys a tip. You want to put in something else that's really nice, hard, and firm. You could use like a peeled jicama, you could use maybe some celery, or in this case I like to use some carrot, or even you could use beet actually. That wouldn't change the color of the tomato juice too much. You could just go ahead and put a piece in and drop it in there, right, and listen carefully. It'll get chopped up and the hard fibers of that carrot will get that softer pulp of the tomatoes to kind of run through more effectively and get it to come out the machine. You might need to use more than just a small piece of carrot or jicama to get it all to go through. So that worked pretty good by adding the carrot. Now the last tip I want to give you guys when juicing fruits is try to pick cherry tomatoes or tomatoes that have more skin area than inside flesh. So like I use more beefsteak style tomatoes that have like a lot of interior, which tends to be softer, and the skin is kind of more firm and helps kind of push all that soft stuff through. So for example, cherry tomatoes would work better than nice large beefsteaks for juicing, to go through the machine more effectively. That being said, that's why these machines are not super ideal for juicing fruits. I'm showing you guys like it is, and that's why I'm gonna always say the best juicer for fruits is vacuum blending plus the bag, or some kind of manual or hydraulic press. Then after that, then you're gonna get this. So let's take a look at the pulp here. This pulp is fairly dry. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I'm not going to say I'm going to say it's moist, and if we squeeze it, we squeeze a little bit of drops of juice out, but it's basically just pulp. So this has been very effective, one of the most effective juicers on juicing fruits. So let's go see how much juice we got here. And another tip here, we could just lift this whole top set up, and I just like to pour this out and see if we got any last drips inside the machine before we close the spout cap. And pour our delicious tomato juice in a glass. Look at that. nice tall glass of tomato juice. All right, next up, we're gonna go ahead and juice some apples. So we're gonna go ahead and load the Namawell J2 juicer up. I always encourage you guys to juice a lemon with the apples. In general, you could put the apples in there whole, but I like to pre-cut them at least minimally in half and remove the stem. The stem can clog and jam the juicer. If you wanna cut them into quarters, that's even gonna work a little bit better. You know, I mean, while you do not have to pre-cut in the Namawell, you could put in whole apples. I find it works significantly better and will save you more time overall, because the juicing time will just be a little bit less if you pre-cut it smaller, so that the juicer doesn't have to work as hard. Plus, when you pre-cut things, you can be more space efficient when loading the hopper, so you can actually get a little bit more produce in there in one fall swoop. In my testing, I generally think that if you fill up the hopper all the way, you're going to get approximately 24 ounces of juice in general, on average. You could maybe get a bit more depending on the fruit you're using. If it's a high water content fruit like tangerines that I've juiced in here, for example, maybe even watermelon, you might even yield more than 24 ounces if you fill up the hopper. All right, so this goes pretty quick. I just cut these apples into fourth, and look at that. I can fit all the apples in the hopper, shut the lid, turn this machine on, and we're going to let it go to town. So it's pretty much all done, and oftentimes when I'm juicing in the Namawell J2, I'll see some remnants up on the sidewall. So when it's pretty much done, I'll try to scoop the remnants down with a spatula or some kind of knife to kind of push it into the chute to get that to juice as well. I find when juicing a mixture of fruits plus vegetables, like if you did apples plus carrots, the machine would be more efficient to kind of get the apples and carrots into the machine. Once again, soft textures are not super optimal for juicing because you can get a lot of leftovers that are still in the machine that did not go through because the moist fruits just kind of stick to the wall and stick to the juicer and don't go through, whereas something like a carrot is not super moist, so it won't stick to the sides and it'll kind of funnel in to the juicer much better. Alright, so it looks like this is done. We got a few apple remnants. Another technique I'm going to show you guys is if you reverse the machine, sometimes that'll help to dislodge things, and then you can turn it forward again to try to, get some more juice out. Alright, so let's go ahead and tip the juicer up, kind of get any residual juice that's kind of hanging out in there. And let's go ahead and check out our apple juice. Now, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not washing this juicer in between juicings. That's the most amazing thing about this machine. The screen doesn't really clog due to the wiping blade, and it's designed so you can continue to juice different recipes. The only downside of juicing multiple recipes in a row is that your juice may be a little bit off color because, this apple juice is not totally apple color. It's a little bit red because of the, tomato juice we juiced right before it. All right, I also want to show you guys the pulp on the apples. I mean, the apples were basically just turned into mush. Once again, if we squeeze the apple pulp, it's pretty dry already, so I can't really squeeze a lot of juice out. I'm not going to say it's sawdust dry like using a press or using the Alexa's bags, but this is dry enough, right? This is like some of the driest pulp you're going to get on a slow juicer. Keep in mind, guys, fruits are very difficult for slow juicers to juice, but the Namawell pretty much does a good job on it. Next up, we will be juicing mangoes, and the biggest problem with juicing mangoes is the labor involved because you need to cut off the skin, cut out the seed, and then just have the fruit. So while you guys wait, I'm just going to go ahead and do that and have a pile of fruit that will then load into the juicer. Alright, so I just cut off the last mango off the peel and the pit, and let me tell you guys, that was too much work to have mango juice. I usually just eat mangoes or we'll blend them up, but For the first time ever, I'm going to juice them in the Namawell J2. It's rare that I even juice mangoes. And one tip I want to give you guys, if you have your heart set on juicing mangoes, make sure you pick hard and firm mangoes. They're going to juice significantly better than the mangoes I have today that are nice, soft, and ripe. And it may not even work. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to show you guys. But then I'll also show you the technique to make it work, to control it so that your juicer can juice the mangoes. Once again, I don't necessarily recommend this, guys. Like, eat your mangoes, enjoy them, or even like blend them, but please don't make mango juice. It's just so much work to peel them and get them off the fruit whatsoever as it is. If you guys try to juice the pit, it will ruin your juicer. And if you try to juice the skin, because I'm not going to take the skin off, John, watch out, because the mango's related to like poison ivy, and then you could get like itchy all over. It causes allergic reactions, which is definitely not a good thing. It looks like all these mangoes that I took off the pit, though, it's basically filling up the whole hopper. But once again, this fruit is very soft. So actually, I'm going to be uber impressed if the Namawell J2 is able to do it. And that's what I show on my channel here. You know, I'm just showing you guys how to do it. I've never done this before, but I know some of you guys want to have your heart set on making mango juice. So I'm showing it. So all right, so we got every last bit of these mangoes in there. Let's close the lid, turn this on, and let's see what happens. All right, in order to save you guys some time, we're gonna speed this part of the video up for you. So here's the thing, guys, it's actually working, but the mango pulp coming out is uber wet. And so I'm not gonna say, hey, this juices mangoes perfectly. Once again, the press style machine is gonna be more efficient at juicing mangoes to get the pulp drier than a single auger style juicer. In addition, these softer fruits that don't have a lot of fiber could take excessively long. Now, 2 points to consider. Today we are juicing like Kent mangoes that tend to be very stringy, and those are kind of working well because the strings kind of help get that fiber pushed out. But you can see this is like just really like mush over here. So if you're juicing something like champagne mangoes that like don't have a lot of strings and the fruit is soft, it's really gonna not work well. So I want to show you guys another tip for juicing mangoes or any other softer fruits is combine it once again at the time you're putting it in. Like if I put it in at the same time, if I put in cubed up jicama, this is a jicama. I really like using jicama. Number one, it's rich in inulin or prebiotic fibers, which is actually kept in the juice when you juice it. It's a soluble fiber, and we're just basically going to remove the skin on the jicama. So we got the jicama all peeled. We're just going to go ahead and cut it in half, and I like to cube it on up. So the optimal thing to do would be to put cubes of the jicama mixed in with the mangoes at the same time. That'll really ensure the mangoes juice more effectively, and actually the pulp will be drier. Of course, you're also going to have some jicama in your juice. I really like juicing jicama with fruits because it adds like basically a undetectable flavor, very little flavor change, but it allows a juicer to run much more efficiently. So in this case, actually the last part of this mango juice is coming out more like nectar. It's super thick, but to clean out the rest of the juicer, we're just going to go ahead and put in some of that jicama to get crunched up, and that's going to help push through all those softer mango bits. So with the jicama addition, it totally worked well, and you can see the white jicama came out at the end to kind of push all that soft pulp through. But I'm not even going to attempt to pick up the mango pulp. It's just super uber wet. So once again, I would recommend a mixture to start with on mangoes, 1 piece of mango to 1 piece of jicama. And that's with the soft mango, but if you had hard mango, maybe you could get away with nice hard mango chunks alone. I do not recommend juicing frozen and thawed fruit. Frozen and thawed fruit is really soft, and it's just really gonna mush up and really not be good. All right, so let's take a look at this juice here. Once again, I like to tip the machine up to see if we get every last bit of juice out. And let's go ahead and check our juice. This juice is uber thick, guys, like super thick. Wow, look at that. Mango jicama juice. That's totally amazing. Next up, we got that watermelon. The watermelon is the easiest thing to juice here. How I'm gonna juice this is simply just cut it in half. And once again, you could cut it in pieces and put the rind all in. Nice, delicious red watermelon. I'm gonna save the rind because actually I'm gonna use the rind as a bug trap in my garden. But we're just gonna go ahead and open this top, take it off, and I got a special tool to basically cut out the inside of the watermelon. Wow, this guy smells super ripe. And you can just cut it into large chunks. Wow, this will be a good watermelon. It's really heavy for its weight. And maybe we'll just hold it over and just cut out pieces and let it just fall in to the juicer since it is so juicy. Alright, that's one half done. You guys can see, if you guys are looking for this tool, this is basically an avocado scoop that doesn't have any tines in the middle. You can also maybe find this, it's called maybe a fruit scoop, which would do a similar function. I find it just super simple and super easy to basically juice watermelon and get the watermelon flesh out this way. Alright, so as you guys can see, I fit the whole watermelon in there, one fall swoop, little mini watermelon, 100% in the juicer. Turn that and turn this on, and instantly we're going to pretty much have tons of watermelon juice coming on out. This is like a very simple process for the Namawell J2. It's going to work quickly and efficiently. That being said, the pulp may be a little bit more wet than, say, the apples would be, just because of the texture. Although it's going to juice better if you have the seeds. So try to get seeded watermelon. The seeds will help push out the pulp and get the pulp more dry in the end. Once again, you can also do that 1-to-1 technique if you want to taper down the watermelon. Another really good technique is also to use the rind, because the rind is a lot more firm and crisp, and that's going to help the insides juice a lot better. Of course, you won't have a nice rich red juice. You're going to have more of a ruddy greenish red juice if you're juicing the rind as well. But in the rind there is chlorophyll, and technically it's healthier to juice the watermelon with the rind. Look at that. No time at all before I was even done talking. I didn't have to speed this up. The Namawell J2 has cleared the whole hopper of watermelon, and it's pretty much done juicing, made over 1 liter of juice. So watermelon is the perfect texture to juice in the J2. After that, I'd say probably the apples did the best. And let's check out the juice we got. 100% straight watermelon juice coming right up. I'll show you guys the juices so far we got. Once again, we got that tomato juice that we made first. Next, we have the apple juice. Don't freak out, juices will separate. The reason why they separate, and most people have never told you this, is because the particulate in there. If you get a pressed juice from like a Norwalk juicer where they use press bags, those press bags retain a lot of the fiber and maybe even some of the soluble fiber in the press bag. So those juices tend to separate way less because they don't have the small particulate in the juices. To me, the small particulate is part of the health benefits, and you're literally robbing yourselves if you guys are using like the press style machine with a fine cloth that is not letting the particulate in. I want the particulate, and it's okay that it separates. So tomato, apple, here's the mostly mango with some jicama, and here is the watermelon. Last but not least, we have the papaya, so we will need to prep the papaya to get it to juice. So I'm going to basically just remove the skin and remove all the seeds, and we're going to come back at you when we got the papaya all prepped. So there you guys go. We got the papaya skin off, the seeds out, and now we're just going to cut this into little pieces. Once again, smaller pieces you cut, the more effective the Namawell will be, and the less time it will take you from like having the blade to pre-cut the produce as it's going in the machine. So let's go ahead and load this papaya into the juicer and see what happens. All right, so I've done papaya in the Namawell J2, so I know it's gonna do well. Once again, this is nice, hard and firm papaya. Some papayas you buy, they just never really get soft and ripe. If they're soft and ripe, I love eating them. But if they're nice and hard like this, I love juicing them because it's gonna take the flavor up a notch to the next level by removing some of the insoluble fiber. So we got it all loaded up. Turn this baby on and let's let the juicer rip. All right, much like that watermelon we juiced just before, it worked excellently in the Namawell J2, as did the papaya. The papaya was nice and firm, not soft and mushy, and that texture really helps the machine to get it to juice really effectively so that there's nothing left in the hopper. How you know when the juicer's done is that the pulp stops flowing out of the machine, and this has actually done an impressive job. So let's go ahead and turn this off and show you guys the pulp of the papaya. If I take this pulp and squeeze it, yeah, I mean there's some drips coming out, but it's fairly dry. But you know, once again, if you want a drier pulp, use a hydraulic press style machine or even like a Dynapro vacuum blender and then squeeze it out in the bags yourself. But once again, guys, load this up, turn it on, literally walk away. You're gonna come back with a whole container of papaya juice. Once again, I like to tip that up, get every last bit out, shut that lid, and let's go ahead and pour out our delicious papaya juice. Look at that, nice, delicious papaya juice coming right up. So what did you guys learn in this episode? You guys learned that the Namawell J2 is the easiest juicer to juice fruits, right? We did have some challenges, so I'm not going to say it's perfect. And this is what I want to show you guys so you guys know the truth about juicing in the different various juicers. My go-to juicer, if I'm not using the hydraulic press or the Dynapro and Alexa's bags to squeeze out the juice, once again, links down below to see those processes and those types of juicer styles, is the Namawell J2. And honestly, I use the Namawell J2 most in my life because you saw when I juice things like watermelon, papaya, and even apples, it was super easy. Tomatoes had a little bit of challenges. They were softer tomatoes. And the same thing with the mangoes was really difficult. But I give you guys some tips so you guys could juice them more effectively. Once again, texture of the fruits matter. Firmest texture works best. And then also you can actually put in some root vegetables and it'll help the softer textures get through and get juiced properly. If you guys enjoyed this episode, because nobody goes to the depth that I do to explain the juicers to you guys so you guys know the truth about juicers, and I want to empower you guys as consumers, you guys could help me out if I've helped you out by, wow, John showed me how to juice all that and gave me his expert tips so I could be successful at juicing it. How can you guys help me out? Well, you guys could purchase your juicer at discountjuicers.com. We sell the Namawell J2 in the black and the white color. At present time when this video is being made, both colors are back in stock. That being said, if you guys want to get a $55 off discount on the Namawell J2, we don't offer that at Discount Juicers, but I have hooked you up if you want to buy directly from Namawell.com. Use the coupon code FRUIT55 and you're going to save $55 off. That's 10% off at present time, the price of the Namawell J2 juicer. When you use the FRUIT55 coupon code, Nama knows that it came from me, and they'll also share a little bit of the commission with me so that I can continue to make these videos for you guys. So your support and using my coupon code is quite appreciated because it allows me to buy my produce, make all the juices I do, and more importantly, share my information with you, because off camera, I'm juicing like every day and I'm experimenting and trying different things. So I know what works and what doesn't, and when you buy from discountjuicers.com directly, you're gonna have me to answer all your questions about juicing that even Nama may not know. And in addition, if you guys buy direct from Discount Juicers, you're gonna have me on your side to make sure that you get the warranty support you deserve if Nama does not take care of you, because I'll go to bat for my customers. So I want to thank you guys who use my coupon code or buy directly at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to continue to make these videos and to share my knowledge about juicing and the juicers to the community at large. So I appreciate you guys so much who has used my code in the past, and I want to thank you guys in advance who will use my code. And also I'm trying to help you guys out and save you guys some money on your juicer purchase so that you could get juicing and you could become a juicer for life and drink some of these amazing juices. So if you guys enjoyed this episode learning about the easiest juicer to juice fruit, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, please be sure to share this video with others you think it could help, like in Dr. Robert Moore's forums, because I know they're juicing lots of fruits, and you know, this is the easiest juicer to juice fruits. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes I've coming out about every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel, or what new juicers I'll be sharing you guys, or what knowledge bombs I'll be dropping on you guys as well. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. Links are down below to some videos I've made previously with the Namawell J2, which is my favorite juicer at this time that I use the most, just because it is so easy to use. And you can do multiple recipes. Like I did all these recipes, I did not clean the juicer once, and that's why some of the recipes may have a little bit funny color, because I didn't, clean the catch bin except after the mango juice, because I didn't want my watermelon juice looking like mango juice. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.